Dad, wake up. Come on, wake up. Didn't Mom just give you a bunch of money yesterday? Why are you out here delivering food again? A small, sweet voice startled Caleb Vance from a dead sleep he'd fallen into on his e-bike. He rubbed his eyes, craning his neck to find the source of the sound. Dad, I'm down here. Caleb snapped his head down and saw a little girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, staring up at him with eyes as bright as stars. She had a grip on his right pant leg and was shaking it gently. Hey, little one, are you calling me Dad? Caleb pointed to himself. The girl nodded, so seriously her chubby cheeks wobbled. He had an insane urge to reach out and pinch one. You got the wrong guy, kiddo. Did you get lost? He scanned the area, but there were no other adults in sight. He figured she must have wandered away from her parents. You are my dad. I'm not a 3-year-old, you know. I think I know what my own father looks like. The little girl gave him a withering eye roll. Kid, I'm really not your dad. Caleb didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I just divorced my wife yesterday, he thought. I have no car, no apartment, no savings, and definitely no wife. Where would a kid come from? You're not some kind of scammer, are you? Because I'm broke. The memory of the divorce sent a fresh pang of sadness through him. Oh, for crying out loud, the little girl exclaimed, slapping a tiny hand to her forehead. Dad, how much did you drink this time? Your name is Caleb Vance. You're 32 years old. Your social is 2 star, and your phone passcode is my birthday, 180612. Am I right or am I right? She demanded, planting her chubby hands on her hips. Okay, you're definitely a scammer, Caleb said, shaking his head. My name is Caleb Vance, but I'm 24, not 32, and my phone passcode is my ex-wife's birthday. You didn't do your homework, kid, Caleb said, flicking her nose playfully. She snorted. You're trying to get rid of me, so you can go back to delivering food to make ends meet, aren't you? Mom has plenty of money. We don't need you to work. You just have to take care of me. She glared at him, hands still firmly on her hips. What is even happening? Caleb muttered, completely bewildered. Look, kid, Are you still pretending? She cut in. Or are you trying to leave me and Mom again? Gimme. Before he could react, she snatched the phone right out of his pocket. Hey, he yelped. So we've moved on from scamming to outright robbery, have we? He lunged for the phone, but she dodged him easily. With flying thumbs, she tapped in a passcode, and the phone unlocked. Caleb froze, stunned. How did you know my password? She ignored him, quickly opening the Photos app. Look, she said, shoving the screen in his face. Is this you? Is this me? It was a photo of him and the little girl, a candid shot of them laughing together. Give me that. His face a mask of shock, Caleb snatched the phone back and zoomed in. He looked from the girl in the picture to the defiant little girl in front of him. It was, without a doubt, the same person. What? What the hell is going on? Caleb's brow furrowed, his confusion deepening. A thought struck him. He quickly locked the phone and tried to enter the passcode again. It failed. He tried twice more. Access denied. This. He started, then his eyes landed on the date displayed on the lock screen. What? 2025? Clang. Ouch. The shock was so great that Caleb tumbled right off his e-bike and onto the pavement. Dad, are you okay? The little girl cried, rushing to help him up. I'm fine. Caleb scrambled to his feet. He glanced at the phone again, finally noticing that it wasn't his old, cracked iPhone. This one was newer, sleeker. Sir, wait a second. Caleb grabbed the arm of a passing pedestrian. What's the problem? The man asked, annoyed. Sorry to bother you, but what year is it? Caleb asked, his voice trembling. Are you kidding me? The man snapped, yanking his arm away. Get off me, you psycho. He shot Caleb a look like he was insane and hurried away. Hey, I just asked what year it was. You don't have to be a jerk about it. Caleb yelled after him, indignant. What a tool. Oh no, the little girl groaned, covering her face with her hands. Caleb spotted an older woman walking by. Mom, excusez-moi, Mom, can I please see your phone for a second? Mine just fell, and the screen's busted. All right, the woman said, sizing him up. He was just a delivery guy. He didn't look dangerous. She handed over her phone. Caleb's hands shook as he took it and woke the screen. Holy! The date on her phone was the same as the one on his. The world tilted. Caleb felt like he'd been struck by lightning, and he staggered, barely catching his balance. Thank you, ma'am. Here's your phone. He carefully handed it back. Thank you, he added, his mind reeling. After the woman left, Caleb's gaze fell on the little girl, who was now busy tapping away on a sleek Apple Watch on her wrist. Could she really be my daughter? How did I lose 8 years in a nap? He wondered, his head spinning. What happened during that time? I can't remember a single thing. And who's her mother? He racked his brain, but it was a total blank. All he could remember was 3 days ago. He'd come home drunk, and then a woman showed up. A woman he despised back in college. The next thing he knew, he'd slept with her. His wife came home from work and caught them in bed. And just like that, it was over. Divorce. He'd left with nothing, willingly. He'd cheated. He was fired from his job for the scandal, too. Delivering food for DoorDash was all he could do to survive. Giving up on trying to make sense of it, Caleb walked over to the little girl and crouched down to her level. So, kid, you said I'm your daughter, and I have a name. It's Poppy Vance. You didn't forget my name, too, did you? She interrupted, her tone sharp. Sorry. Caleb said quickly, placing his hands on her small shoulders. Poppy, right? Okay, Dad has a question for you then. What's your mom's name? I mean, my wife. Poppy sighed, a world-weary sound from such a small person. Dad, you're only in your early 30s. You don't remember Mom's name? If you're like this now, how can I trust you to go out alone when you're old? Could you please try not to make your daughter worry so much? Right. It won't happen again, I promise, Caleb said, holding up 2 fingers like a Boy Scout. Ugh, she sighed again. Mom's name is Leah Pierce. Dad, you've really got to get it together. Poppy's voice was full of exasperation, but Caleb felt like he'd been struck by lightning all over again. Impossible, he shouted, jumping to his feet. You're telling me my wife is Leah Pierce? No way. How could I marry that 220-pound she-devil? Even Maria Beat. Caleb couldn't believe his wife could be the Leah Pierce he knew. Right, it must be someone else with the same name. That has to be it, he muttered, trying to reassure himself. Mom is a gorgeous, super fit bombshell. How could she possibly be a fatty? Poppy retorted. Come on, Dad. Let's go home. I can't believe a little kid like me has to come out and find you. She rolled her eyes, grabbed his hand, and started pulling. You said my wife is a bombshell? He thought, a wave of relief washing over him. I knew it. No way I'd marry that Leah Pierce. Besides, could she produce a daughter this cute and pretty? Caleb let Poppy lead him away, feeling a bit lighter. My e-bike. I'll have the housekeeper sell it later. That way you won't be able to sneak out again. Poppy tugged him forward with surprising strength. The reason Caleb had such a violent reaction to the name Leah Pierce was because she had made his life a living hell in college. She was a 220-pound bruiser who bullied him relentlessly. Once, when he was getting picked on, she beat up the bullies and then announced to a crowd of people that he was her man, making him the laughingstock of the entire campus. She forced him to do her cleaning duties, stole his food, and made him give her rides home, once even popping the tire on a scooter with her weight. But the absolute worst part? The homewrecker his ex-wife had caught him in bed with was that same she-devil, Leah Pierce. To this day, Caleb couldn't figure it out. Even blackout drunk, how could he possibly have touched her? We're home, Poppy announced after a 20-minute walk, stopping in front of a massive modern villa. She looked up at him like a tiny adult. Dad, Mom is super busy at the office. You need to behave from now on, okay? Don't make us worry about you anymore. Mom cries sometimes when you run off like this. Caleb's jaw dropped. The sheer shock and surprise of the last hour had him convinced he was still dreaming. Hiss! He pinched his arm hard. The sharp pain made him wince. This is real. How could this loaded wife of mine fall for a broke cheater like me, he wondered, and have such a beautiful daughter with me? This woman has to have some kind of weird fetish. Caleb stood frozen on the sidewalk, his mind racing. Are you coming in, or are you planning another escape? Poppy asked, seeing him hesitate. She grabbed his hand again and pulled him toward the front door. Fingerprint verified. Door unlocked. Poppy expertly pressed her thumb to the scanner, and the heavy door swung open. She led Caleb inside. It was the first time Caleb had ever been in a house this big. It was bright, spacious, and impeccably clean, with a feel of understated luxury. I have homework to do. Don't you run off again, Poppy instructed, letting go of his hand. Caleb said, still gawking at the grand interior. Right. I won't run. He gave her a goofy smile and a wave. Tell me when Maria has dinner ready, she called over her shoulder as she headed for the stairs to her room. As soon as Poppy was gone, Caleb started exploring, his eyes wide as he took in the decor. What kind of woman will be blind enough to marry me? He mumbled to himself. Or did this little girl really get the wrong guy? He said aloud. Is that my wedding photo? He spotted a large framed picture on a far wall. From his angle, he couldn't make out the faces of the couple. Slowly, cautiously, he walked toward it. As he got closer and the faces came into focus, his brow furrowed. He took 2 more steps. It's her. It's her. It really is her. After staring for a long moment, Caleb's eyes widened in horror. He stumbled backward as if he'd seen a ghost, his legs giving out as he collapsed onto the floor. The scowling man in the photo was definitely him, and the woman next to him, with the stunning, graceful figure. After careful inspection, Caleb was certain. It was the Leah Pierce he knew, the woman he'd cheated with, the homewrecker. How is this possible? How'd I marry her? And her body? Nope. I gotta get out of here. Caleb scrambled to his feet, grabbed the shoe that had fallen off, and started hopping toward the door while tripod on. Click! Just as he got his shoe on and reached for the doorknob, the door opened from the outside. Panicked, Caleb frantically looked for a place to hide. Sir, you're back, a woman in a housekeeper's uniform said. Is Miss Poppy back? She went out this morning to look for you. Before Caleb could find a hiding spot, she saw him. It was the housekeeper. He let out a small sigh of relief. You mean that little girl, Poppy? She's upstairs. I have to go. I have something urgent to do. With that, Caleb tried to make a break for the door. Sir, you can't run off again, the housekeeper exclaimed, dropping her grocery bags and grabbing his arm. Ma'am is so good to you. Why do you have to make things so difficult for her? You've all got the wrong person. I don't know you, and I'm not your sir. Let go of me. Caleb twisted around, trying to pry her fingers off his shirt. Sir, what nonsense are you talking about? I've been working here for over 2 years. How could I mistake you for someone else? Sir, I'm begging you, please stop making the missus worry, she pleaded, her grip tightening. Oh man, Caleb groaned. It's too late, let me go. Screech. The distinct sound of tires braking came from just outside. The missus is home. Caleb's head snapped toward the open door. A driver got out of a sleek black car and opened the rear door. A tall, elegant woman in a white power suit with long, flowing hair stepped out. It was the woman from the photograph. Maria, what's going on? Why are you holding on to him? The woman asked as she walked inside, her gaze falling on the 2 of them. Oh, Miss Poppy just found him, and he was about to run off again, so the housekeeper explained, quickly letting go of Caleb. All right, that's enough. You can go now, the woman said. Yes, ma'am. Maria nodded, picked up her groceries, and headed to the kitchen. From the moment Leah Pierce stepped out of the car, Caleb's eyes were locked on her. He scanned her up and down as if he had X-ray vision, trying to see straight through to her bones to understand how this transformation was possible. Why are you staring at me like that? Leah asked, checking her outfit to make sure nothing was out of place. You usually act like even looking at me makes you sick. Leah Pierce, Caleb said, pointing a trembling finger at her. What? Don't recognize your own wife? She retorted. Or have you decided to play crazy to get away from me? Leah dropped her purse on a table and stepped closer. Are you really that Leah Pierce? You weren't, but now you're. Caleb made a large, boxy shape with his hands, then traced an hourglass figure in the air. I believe I've told you this before, she said, her voice flat. I lost the weight after I had Poppy. Wasn't it you who couldn't stand the 220-pound me? Then again, you don't like the 120-pound me either, she added with a flicker of hurt, her lip trembling slightly. We're really married? And Poppy is. Mean it? Caleb asked, no longer caring about her weight, his voice barely a whisper. What is wrong with you today? Are you questioning Poppy's paternity again? You're the one who got the DNA test done. Don't you even trust yourself? A look of pain crossed Leah's face as she sank onto the sofa. Caleb quickly followed her. No, it's not that. I have amnesia. Can you just tell me? What happened that day? Why did we sleep together? And what happened after? The thought of sleeping with a big woman who used to bully him still made his skin crawl. Amnesia. Leah reached out and placed a hand on his forehead. Get off, he snapped, swatting her hand away. I don't have fever. You are acting very strange today, she said, rubbing her hand where he'd hit it. You really have amnesia? How? Are you going to tell me or not? If not, I'm leaving. Caleb stood up, ready to bolt. Okay, I'll talk. I'll talk, Leah said, quickly grabbing his hand. Then talk, Caleb said, sitting back down, surprisingly letting her hold his hand. He didn't pull away this time, Leah thought, her head bowed as she looked at his hand in hers. He usually hates it when I touch him. Does he really have amnesia? What are you staring at? Caleb demanded, yanking his hand free and glaring at her. Oh, if he wants to hear it again, I'll tell him, she thought. Maybe he'll finally come around. Leah still didn't fully believe he'd lost his memory. A few days before that, I saw Sophia and Jason White checking into a hotel. That's bullshit, Caleb roared, cutting her off. Leah let out a small, bitter laugh, as if she'd expected it. Sophia was my wife. We were in love. It was you who climbed into my bed when I was drunk. You're the reason we got divorced. You were the homewrecker, and now you're trying to slander her. Leah Pierce, my entire life has been one humiliation after another because of you. You ruined everything. The memories of past torments flooded back, and Caleb's eyes blazed with fury. He grabbed Leah's wrist, his grip tightening. Let go of me. You're hurting me. Caleb shoved her arm away. You asked me to tell you, but then you don't believe me when I do. What do you want from me? Leah cried, looking at her bruised wrist, her eyes welling with tears. Seeing her looking so vulnerable, Caleb's heart softened slightly. Fina, keep talking. I want to see what other lies you can spin. They threatened me. They said if I told you I saw them together, they would ruin your reputation. A few days later, Sophia called me. She told me to come to your place to see you one last time. So I rushed over, but when you saw me, you just grabbed me. Leah looked down, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. What? You're saying it was me who grabbed you? Back when you were. Caleb's eyes went wide as he once again made the boxy shape with his hands. After I came back to the States, I did some digging. You weren't just drunk that day. Someone drugged you. It was a setup from the start. Leah ignored his jab about her former size and continued. Impossible. Jason is my best friend. He's the one who introduced me to Sophia. Why would they do that to me? Caleb still refused to believe it. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense, he said, suddenly realizing something. Everyone knew you couldn't stand me, that you wished I'd drop dead. Why would Sophia call you? You're definitely lying. I may have amnesia, but I'm not an idiot, Leah. Stop trying to trick me. I think you are an idiot, she shot back, a bitter smile on her face. Everyone knew how I felt about you. You were the only one who always misunderstood. What? What do you mean? Caleb asked, confused. I've always been in love with you. I love you, Leah said, her eyes full of a deep, unwavering affection. What? Caleb shot up from the couch and backed away, staring at her as if she'd grown a second head. That's why they called me, she explained, standing up as well. They knew you didn't like me. They knew you hated me, that even the sight of me made you sick. So they called me. They wanted to see us together, to humiliate you. Their goal was to make you cheat, so you'd leave the marriage with nothing. Then why did you still go? I didn't know it was a trap at the time. I'm telling you the truth, Leah said, biting her lip, her brow furrowed in pain. So why did we get married? And Poppy? Caleb trailed off, looking lost. After they found us, you hit me. You told me to get out, that you never wanted to see me again for the rest of your life. The memory of his cruel words seemed to wash over her, and her face filled with sorrow. The next day, I left the country. 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant. I came back 3 years ago, she continued. I thought you deserved to know about Poppy, and I didn't want her to grow up without a father. So you used the kid to threaten me? Force me to marry you? Caleb asked accusatorially. No, no, no. Leah shook her head, pointing upstairs. It was your daughter. You haven't believed a word I've said for 3 years. I'm used to your coldness, she said with a sigh. I just hope you don't hold it against our daughter. I wouldn't hold it against a child, Caleb stammered. But don't expect me to fall in love with you. Moof. With that, Caleb turned and walked away. Where are you going? Dinner's almost ready. Eat without me. Without a backward glance, Caleb walked out the door. Caleb took an Uber to the apartment he'd left to Sophia, but the entire block had been torn down for redevelopment. Unwilling to give up, He went to Jason's old place, only to find it empty. Both of their phone numbers were disconnected. Growl. As he wandered the streets, lost in thought. His stomach rumbled like a beast demanding to be fed. Caleb rubbed his belly and looked around. This looks okay. He spotted a high-end French restaurant across the street and headed over. A meal in a place like this must be insanely expensive, he thought, peering through the window before pulling out his phone. What the hell? Seeing his Venmo balance of $3.30, he couldn't help but swear. Leah Pierce, you bitch, he muttered, his fists clenched. Calling yourself my wife, living in a mansion and driving luxury cars, while I can't even afford a decent meal. He was being unfair, of course. Leah used to give him $1 million a month in spending money, but he'd blow through it in days and demand more. He'd been spending extravagantly just to spite her, to retaliate for what he believed she'd done to his life. Eventually, Leah had stopped the transfers and just given him an unlimited black card. But the amnesiac Caleb didn't remember any of that. Is this car mine? I wonder if there's enough on it for a feast. He rummaged through his pockets and pulled out a sleek, black credit card. Worth a shot. If it gets declined, I'll just make Leah come pay for it. She's loaded, and she owes me. With that, Caleb strode into the restaurant like he owned the place. Good evening, sir. Are you here for dinner? A waiter asked, rushing over and eyeing Caleb's DoorDash uniform uncertainly. What else would I be doing here? Picking up an order? Well, yes. The waiter gestured to Caleb's clothes. Caleb looked down and realized he'd forgotten to change. Ahem, he cleared his throat. Right, well, I'm not picking up tonight. I'm here to spend, and spend big. Find me a table. He tried to sound confident, but inside he was cringing. This way, sir. Caleb followed the waiter to a window seat. What can I get for you, sir? The waiter, to his credit, remained polite and placed a menu in front of Caleb. Where did this bum come from, stinking up the place? How does a high-class restaurant like this let just anyone in? Caleb had just opened a menu when a grating voice came from the next table. He glanced over and saw a man with slicked back, greasy hair glaring at him. The man's hair was so shiny it looked like it had been licked by a cow. A thick gold chain hung around his neck, and a flashy watch glittered on his wrist. Seriously, it stinks, the woman sitting across from him added, wrinkling her nose and waving a hand in front of her face. Stink. Caleb lifted the collar of his shirt and sniffed. Smack. The greasy-haired man slammed his hand on the table and shot to his feet. Waiter, are you blind? You let this riffraff in here? You want to get fired. I'm a VIP here. Letting this guy in has completely ruined my wife's and my appetite. Are you going to take responsibility for that? The man bellowed, pointing a finger at Caleb. Sir, the waiter looked from Caleb to the irate man, completely flustered. Before he could finish, Caleb stood up and pulled him aside. Man, I really should have checked my horoscope before leaving the house today, Caleb said nonchalantly, picking at his ear with his pinky. If I'd known I was going to run into 2 rabid dogs, I would have stayed home. Oh, and what do you know, a male and a female? Have you ever seen that before? I certainly haven't. 1 rabid dog is bad enough, but 2 going crazy together? A perfect match, really. Who the hell are you calling a dog? The man roared. A dog was barking at me. So naturally, I was talking to the dog, Caleb retorted with a smirk, turning to face the enraged man. You son of a bitch, you're asking for it. The man's chest heaved, and he rolled up his sleeves, ready for a fight. Darling, don't lower yourself by fighting with this trash, the woman drawled, still eyeing Caleb with disdain. Let's get the manager. I doubt this loser can afford to eat here anyway. If he tries to dine and dash, we won't have to do a thing. They'll take care of him. She smirked. It was true. In a place like this, the service charge alone was more than most people could afford. Go get your manager, the woman commanded the waiter, pointing a manicured finger at him. Tell him someone's about to dine and dash. I haven't even ordered yet. How can you say I'm going to dine and dash? Caleb asked coolly. You're a bum, the woman sneered. Look at the menu. Can you afford anything on it? A month of delivering food probably wouldn't even cover the cheapest appetizer. Hee, she giggled, covering her mouth with her hand. You don't need to worry about that, Caleb said, sitting back down and ignoring them. Waiter, what's your specialty here? The most expensive thing you've got. That will be the vintage 2000 dry-aged ribeye steak. But I'll take it. and a bottle of your best wine. Caleb cut him off, suddenly ravenous. The waiter started to say something else, but a glare from the couple next to them made him clam up. Right away, sir. As the waiter left, the couple exchanged smug, expectant glances. Is that it? Caleb asked with a frown when the waiter presented the steak a few minutes later. This is barely a mouthful. Bring me 5 more of these. Wah! The waiter's jaw dropped. What's with the wah? Just go. With that, Caleb picked up his knife and fork and began to devour the steak. Hey, buddy, never had anything this good before, have you? The man from the next table said, sauntering over and sitting down opposite Caleb. Enjoy it while you can. The happier you are eating it, the harder you're going to cry later. So many flies, Caleb muttered under his breath, dropping the half-eaten steak he was holding back onto his plate. So annoying. You just wait, you little punk, the man hissed, getting up and stalking off. A few minutes later, he returned with another man in a sharp suit. The manager's here, punk. Let's see you act so tough now, the man gloated, crossing his arms. Good evening, sir, the manager said with a polite, professional smile. Are you enjoying your meal and the service tonight? Not satisfied, Caleb replied calmly, swirling the wine in his glass. The manager's smile froze. Sir, could you please tell us what we've done wrong? He asked, his professional demeanor returning. You let dogs in here. Rabid dogs at that, Caleb said, downing the last of his wine. It completely ruined the mood. What the F? Hey, the man next to him shouted, lunging forward again. Don't touch me. The manager quickly stepped in to restrain him. Sir, I sincerely apologize that your experience was not up to our standards, the manager said, his patience clearly wearing thin. As compensation, we will offer you a 1% discount on your bill today. No need for that. I'm not so broke that I need your discount, but I would like to offer you a piece of advice. Some people, no matter what exquisite food you serve them, will still spew garbage every time they open their mouths. It's one thing to ruin my appetite, but it's another thing entirely to ruin your restaurant's reputation. Caleb stood up, straightened his clothes, and patted the manager on the shoulder, giving the smirking man a sideways glance. Thank you for your feedback. We'll take it into consideration, the manager said dismissively. Your total for today is $44,000. How will you be paying, sir? The man started to move forward again, but the manager blocked him. What? The price sent a jolt through Caleb. He had assumed it would be a few thousand at most. He hadn't ordered that much. Can I pay with a card? Caleb asked, his voice wavering slightly as he pulled the black card from his pocket. Of course, the manager said, a smirk playing on his lips as he noticed Caleb's hesitation. Bring me the card reader. When the waiter brought the machine, the manager snatched the card from Caleb's hand. The man next to him pointed at Caleb with a triumphant look that clearly said, You're screwed. The other diners had been watching the scene unfold and were now all staring. Payment successful. As the manager swiped the card, a clear, crisp electronic voice announced the transaction. Caleb, who had been clenching his fists in anticipation, felt a wave of relief wash over him. A grin spread across his face. The smiles on the manager's and the other man's faces, however, turned to stone. Well, Caleb said, snatching his card back from the manager's stunned grasp. Are you going to give it back or not? How could a stinking delivery guy have that much money? The man stammered, pointing at Caleb in disbelief. You son of a bitch, don't ever look down on anyone. Some people are out of your league, Caleb said, walking up to the man and lightly tapping his cheek with the edge of the credit card. Who is this guy? The man thought, his anger suddenly replaced by a flicker of fear. Is he the son of some rich family, just trying out a normal life? You know what? I'm in a good mood today, Caleb announced loudly. Everyone's meal is on me. Caleb Vance. Keep the card, he said, tossing the black card back to the manager with a flourish. Seeing the man's beet-red face filled him with immense satisfaction. Except for those two, he added, gesturing to the man with the greasy hair and his wife. Of course. Whatever you say, sir, the manager said, his attitude completely changed, now bowing and scraping. Thank you, Mr. Vance. Mr. Vance, you're the man. The restaurant erupted in cheers and applause. Caleb felt like he was floating on air, looking down on his adoring subjects. Leah, you better not let me down, he thought. or this is going to be the most embarrassing moment of my life. With a magnanimous smile, Caleb raised a hand to quiet the crowd. Card processed successfully. After tallying up everyone's bills, the manager swiped the card one last time. The familiar, beautiful sound echoed through the room. Woo! The restaurant cheered again. The manager, now beaming, handed the card back to Caleb with both hands, along with the itemized receipt. Caleb glanced at the total at the bottom. $107,000? Damn it! A sharp pain shot through Caleb's chest. $160,000 for one meal, and most of it wasn't even for him. Enjoy your meals, everyone. I've got to go. With a pained expression, Caleb turned to leave. The manager rushed to present him with a VIP card and personally escorted him out of the restaurant. The couple, humiliated, quickly paid their bill and scurried away. Ding, ding. Leah received 2 consecutive transaction notifications on her phone. She glanced at them, then locked her phone without a word. And I thought he'd changed. She pursed her lips and went back to helping Poppy with her homework. Caleb wandered around the city until the streetlights had been on for hours before he slowly made his way back to Leah's villa. He was an orphan with no parents to speak of. He used to have Sophia, but now it seemed he had nowhere else to go. Sir, you're home. The housekeeper, Maria, was cleaning when she heard the door open. Yeah. Are they? Caleb asked quietly, peering into the first floor. The Mrs. and Miss Poppy have already gone upstairs, Maria replied. Caleb nodded, changed into his slippers, and walked into the living room. You're back. Leah appeared at the top of the stairs, wearing a pink silk nightgown that clung to her graceful figure. Caleb's eyes followed her all the way down. Oh, yeah, I'm back, he stammered as she approached, quickly averting his gaze and wiping his mouth with the back of his hand, though he hadn't been drooling. Did you go find her again? Leah asked as she reached him. Is this really the same Leah Pierce? Caleb wondered, his eyes fixed on the hem of her nightgown and her bare feet. The old her was hard to look at, but the new her is even harder to look at. My God, women are chameleons. Fat, thin, aggressive, gentle, repulsive, drool-worthy. How can all of that be the same person? What's wrong? Leah asked again when he didn't answer. He snapped back to reality. Oh, right. I want to find her. I couldn't just take your word for it, could I? He glanced at her again, then quickly looked away. This Leah was just too alluring. Her smooth, delicate shoulders, the impressive curve of her bust. Caleb couldn't help but swallow hard. Damn it. Has it really been 8 years since I've been with a woman? Why am I having these thoughts about Leah Pierce? He cursed himself internally. Hearing his answer, Leah's brow furrowed in confusion. Next time you go see Serena, can you please? Now let Poppy see. Our daughter, she... Wait, Caleb interrupted. Who did you say I went to see? Serena. Weren't you with her? Serena. Who's that? Caleb was even more confused now. He thought Leah was talking about Sophia. Who the hell was Serena? He had no memory of her at all. You really don't remember her? She's your woman on the side. As she said it, Leah looked down, and Caleb missed the flash of disappointment on her face. What? You mean you and I are legally married, and I'm keeping a mistress? Caleb's eyes widened in disbelief. Leah nodded slightly. And you put up with that? Why didn't you just divorce me? Caleb asked, shaking his head in shock. Poppy wants our family to be together. And I believe you'll eventually see how much I truly care about you, she whispered, her head still bowed, her hands fidgeting. Leah didn't seem to be lying. Am I really keeping a mistress? What kind of animal am I? Even if I hated her, I couldn't do that to her. Especially not this version of Leah, who's impossible to hate. Ahem. Caleb cleared his throat. By the way, this card is... It's a secondary card on my account. Leah glanced at the black card in his hand. Are you kidding me? I'm using my wife's money to... And she knows about it? Even my daughter knows. Someone hand me a 40-meter machete. I need to kill myself. Caleb couldn't believe he was capable of such things. He felt an overwhelming urge to end his own existence. From now on, that will never happen again. Don't get me wrong, he added quickly, seeing the sad look on her face. I mean, I will never cheat on you again. I'm going to go wash up, Caleb said, gesturing behind him as if asking for permission. Oh, he turned to go, then realized he had no idea where the bathroom was in the massive villa. Haha, he chuckled awkwardly, turning back. The bathroom is. Your bathroom is on the second floor, Leah said, pointing upstairs. Thanks. Caleb quickly skirted around her and dashed up the stairs. Leah watched him go before she, too, went upstairs to her own room. After his shower, Caleb stood outside Leah's bedroom door, hesitating for a long moment before finally knocking. What is it? Leah asked, opening the door but not moving to let him in. Time for bed, Caleb said, glancing into the room with a frown. You want to sleep? In here? Leah asked, a surprised look on her face. If not in here, where do I sleep? You never wanted to sleep with me. Your room is over there, Leah said, finally understanding, and pointed to another room across the hall. Caleb looked at the other room, his face a mixture of embarrassment and confusion. Ahem, he cleared his throat. You know, I have amnesia. I don't remember anything from before. Let me ask you, have we been sleeping like this? For all 3 years of our marriage, he asked awkwardly, gesturing between the two rooms. Leah nodded. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll go to my room now. Sorry. Ha. Caleb laughed awkwardly, apologizing profusely as he backed away toward his room. Wait, if you want to sleep in here, then come in. Leah's shy voice came from behind him, just as he turned to leave. We looked back. She had already disappeared into her room, but the door was still open. Caleb opened his mouth, but no words came out. The hell with it. It's legal. What am I hesitating for? He took a step, then stopped, then finally, forcing a calm expression, walked into Leah's room. She was already under the covers, her back to him. He couldn't see her blushing face or the way her hands were trembling as she clutched the blanket. Caleb swallowed hard, quietly closed the door, and walked to the bed. He gently lifted the covers and slipped in. There was enough space between them for 2 more people. I'm in bed with Leah Pierce again, just like that, he thought, turning his head to look at the back of her head. This is the woman I used to hate so much I wanted to skin her alive. Why don't I feel any disgust now? In fact, I feel a little. He squeezed his eyes shut and shook his head, trying to banish the inappropriate images from his mind. He subtly adjusted himself under the covers. Do you want to? Leah's voice, soft and hesitant, came from the other side of the bed. Huh, what? Caleb, lost in his thoughts, was startled back to reality. Leah turned over, moved closer to him, and took his hand, placing it under her head as she snuggled into his arms. The scent of her perfume filled his senses, and he felt his mouth go dry, his throat tightening. He couldn't stop swallowing. Caleb, make love to me just once, she whispered, her lips so close he could feel her breath. His own breathing became ragged. Okay. In one swift movement, Caleb was on top of her like a starving wolf pouncing on its prey. What got into you tonight? It's like you haven't done this in 10 years, Leah said, her face flushed as she snuggled against his chest. You're such a siren. Again. No, that was 5 times already, MMPH. When Caleb woke up, Leah was already gone. He stretched, got out of bed, and put on the clothes he'd left on the floor. Sir, you're awake. The housekeeper, Maria, greeted him with a smile as he came downstairs. Morning, Maria. Where's Leah? He asked, looking around the first floor. The missus has already left for the office. Oh, Maria placed breakfast on the dining table, and Caleb sat down. Sir, have you and the missus made up? Maria asked, her face beaming, as Caleb took a bite of a croissant. Made up. Oh, I guess you could say that, Caleb replied with a faint smile after swallowing. I knew it. The missus was so happy this morning. Before she left, she told me to make all your favorite foods today. She said she'd be home early to have dinner with you. Maria chattered on as she poured him a glass of orange juice. Really, was I not good to her? Before, Caleb asked tentatively, taking the juice from her. Sir, you never used to eat with the missus. You said the sight of her made you lose your appetite, and you would often bring home other women right in front of her. Maria replied cautiously. Was I really such a bastard? Caleb muttered to himself, unable to remember any of it. And that's not all. You started delivering food just to embarrass her. The missus is a famous CEO in New York. Her husband being a delivery guy, it was a joke to everyone, and you intentionally sabotaged several of her projects, causing the company to lose a lot of money. Seeing that Caleb wasn't getting angry, Maria continued. Haha. Caleb chuckled nervously. That won't happen again. Maria, why don't you go take care of your other chores? He couldn't let her keep digging up his past mistakes. If she kept talking, he wouldn't be able to eat his breakfast. Of course, sir. Enjoy your meal. Caleb forced a smile and nodded. Sir, I noticed the missus was walking a little differently this morning, Maria said with a mischievous grin. Sir, from now on, be good to her. Maria winked and quickly scurried away, leaving Caleb speechless and red-faced. With Leah and Poppy both out of the house, Caleb had nothing to do but play video games and trim the hedges in the backyard. Ring, ring, ring. His phone suddenly rang. He put down the watering can and wiped his hands on his pants. Serena. The name on the caller ID made him pause. So, this is the woman I was keeping with Leah's money, he thought. Is this Serena even better than Leah in some way? Hello, he answered, his curiosity piqued. Caleb, honey, what are you doing? Why did it take you so long to answer? A sweet, slightly pouty voice cooed from the other end. I was busy. What do you want? Caleb replied coldly. There was a moment of silence, as if the person on the other end was taken aback. A few seconds later, the syrupy voice returned. Caleb, baby, I miss you. You haven't come to see me in days. I miss you so much it hurts. Where does it hurt? Caleb asked, holding the phone away from his ear to escape the cringe-inducing tone. Oh, stop it. You know what I mean, Caleb, Serena purred. Get to the point. All right, fine, she said, her voice finally sounding a little more normal. Let's meet this afternoon. We can talk in person. Fine, Caleb agreed after a moment's hesitation. He was curious to see what kind of woman he'd been involved with. Great. I'll see you at dusklight. And this time, Caleb, baby, whatever you want, I'm all yours. Without another word, Caleb hung up. Caleb asked the housekeeper for the keys to one of the luxury cars in the garage and drove to the nightclub where he was meeting Serena. Caleb, as soon as he parked, a woman waved at him and ran over. Caleb, baby, what took you so long? I've been waiting forever, she said, throwing her arms around him. She was undeniably beautiful, with a perfect figure and a stunning face. But Caleb still had no memory of her. Serena, he asked, his hands hovering awkwardly in the air. Caleb, what's wrong with you? Who else would I be? I know you have a lot of women, Caleb, but you couldn't have forgotten your favorite Serena. Could you? She pouted, pulling away. I have a lot of women. The thought sent a jolt of alarm through him. Of course not, he said, reaching out to tilt her chin up. I knew you wouldn't forget me, she beamed, taking his arm and leading him into the flashing nightclub dusklight. Hey, Caleb's here. Come on in. There were two other men in the private booth who immediately stood up to greet him. Caleb had no idea who they were either. He nodded at them and took the main seat. Here you go, Caleb. One of the men poured him a drink. Caleb took it, clinked glasses with the others, and downed it in one go. Caleb, did you know that Pierce Industries is bidding on that piece of land in the South District? One of the men asked after exchanging a look with Serena. Serena then snuggled up to Caleb, her arm linked with his. Caleb saw the whole exchange. No, I hadn't heard, he replied, turning to smile at Serena. Caleb, honey, my company wants that land too. I heard they're planning a massive resort there. If my company can get the development rights, we could finally surpass Pierce Industries. It would be the perfect revenge for you, Serena said, lifting a glass to his lips. If you can give me the bid amount from Pierce Industries, we can definitely beat them at the auction. Will you help me, Caleb? If you help me, Caleb, tonight, I'm all yours, she whispered in his ear, her breasts brushing against his arm. Buzz! Suddenly, it was as if a giant bell had rung inside Caleb's head. The scene, the conversation, everything felt eerily familiar, as if it had all happened before. And when she mentioned the South District land, he had a strong feeling that something was wrong with it, that it was a bad investment. But he couldn't say why. Caleb, what's wrong? Serena asked, shaking his arm. You guys have fun. I'm going to the restroom, Caleb said, getting up and leaving the booth. Caleb, are you okay? Serena called after him, but he didn't answer. As soon as he was gone, she smirked and snuggled up to one of the other men, their actions intimate. What was that all about? Caleb muttered, staring at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Everything in the booth, he was sure of it, had happened before. and he was certain that land was a bad idea. Did I develop a sixth sense after I time traveled? He wondered, unable to come up with any other explanation. He splashed some water on his face and headed back to the booth. As he reached for the door, he heard them talking about him inside. That idiot Caleb. All I have to do is bat my eyelashes, and he'd give me his life. He'll definitely get me Leah Pierce's bid amount, Serena said, nestled in one of the men's arms. You're right. That fool. If it wasn't for his wife's money, why would we even bother being nice to him? After we get this land, I'm going to make him kneel down and lick my shoes. I've been sick of him for a long time. Thinks he's so great. He's just a parasite living off a woman, the other man added viciously. All right, keep it down. He might hear you, the man holding Serena said. Baby, you'll have to work your magic one more time tonight. As soon as this is done, we'll get married. He lifted her chin. Don't worry, darling. Zane, you're really going to let Serena sleep with that idiot? The other man asked. Zane and Serena just looked at each other and laughed. Like he's worthy of sleeping with me? The sight of him makes me sick. He gets drunk every time. The person who sleeps with him isn't me. It's one of the girls I hire from the club. My body is only for you, Zaney Boo, Serena said, stroking Zane's cheek. Zane closed his eyes, enjoying it. So that's how it is. They've been playing me for a fool this whole time. Hearing their conversation, Caleb didn't feel much anger. After all, those were the stupid things the Oldham had done. The new him was different. Well then, let's have some fun. With a cunning smile, Caleb pushed the door open, startling Serena, who quickly scrambled out of Zane's arms, a panicked look on her face. Caleb, baby, are you all right? She asked, rushing over to help him. I'm Phoenix. I guess I'm just a lightweight, Caleb said, pretending not to have seen anything as he sat back down in his original seat. Caleb, if I can get this land, we can finally get back at that Leah Pierce for you, Serena urged, leaning in close again. What do you think? Sure, Caleb said, wrapping an arm around her and squeezing her butt. Zane, sitting nearby, clenched his fists in anger. Caleb, you're so naughty. Serena squealed, playfully pushing him away. What? Didn't you just say that tonight I could do whatever I want? Having second thoughts? Caleb asked, pulling her in even tighter. Of course not. Here, Caleb, let's have a drink, Serena said, using it as an excuse to get up and pour him another glass. About an hour later, Caleb put down his glass and stood up. All right, that's enough for tonight. Caleb, calling it a night so early? Zane teased. Don't I have important business to take care of tonight? If I get too drunk, I might forget, Caleb said with a sly smile. Right, business first. We can drink any time, the other man agreed. I'm heading out then. Wait for my good news, Caleb said, tilting Serena's chin up. I'll be waiting, Caleb. Caleb let her go and left. That idiot is finally gone. Let's party. We can really let loose now that he's not here. Come on, let's drink. After Caleb left, the three of them really started a party. When Caleb got home, Leah and Poppy were already back. The dining table was filled with delicious-looking food. Sir, you're home, the housekeeper said, rushing to get his slippers. At the sound of his voice, the mother and daughter, who had been playing on the sofa, both turned to look at him. Sir, go wash up for dinner. The missus insisted on waiting for you. The food's been reheated twice already. Okay, Caleb said, his eyes meeting Leah's and Poppy's, a warm smile spreading across his face. Daddy, where did you go? Poppy asked, running up to him. Daddy had to take care of some business. Were you a good girl at school today? Caleb asked, ruffling her hair. I'm a class president. I have to be a good example for everyone. So of course I was good, Poppy said proudly. Come here, Poppy. Let your dad go wash his hands, Leah said, coming up behind them and gently pulling Poppy back. You guys go ahead and eat, Caleb said as he headed to the bathroom. As he walked past Leah, the strong scent of perfume on him made her frown. It wasn't the first time she'd smelled it on him. He went to see her again. I wonder what he wants this time. Leah sighed internally. Why aren't you guys eating? Caleb asked when he came back from washing his hands and saw them both sitting at the table, not touching their food. Mommy said we have to wait for Daddy to eat. Daddy, this is the first time you've eaten dinner with me. Can you eat with me every day from now on? Poppy asked, her big, pleading eyes making Caleb's heart ache. Okay, Daddy promises. From now on, I'll eat dinner with you every day, and I'll help you with your homework, do crafts with you. and take you out to play. Whatever Poppy wants, Daddy will do, Caleb said, crouching down and taking her small hands in his. Yay, Poppy cheered, throwing her hands in the air. All right, let's eat, Caleb said, getting up and pinching her cheek before sitting down across from them. You don't have to wait for me in the future. Just eat when you're hungry, he said casually as he picked up his fork. Okay, whatever you say. This was the first time they had eaten together at the same table since they got married. Leah's heart was a mixture of joy and sorrow. Leah, Caleb, who had always hated the woman in front of him, had never called her by her first name before. It felt strange. Yes, what is it? Leah asked, putting down her fork. Is your company planning on bidding for that piece of land in the South District? Caleb asked, after much consideration. Yes, they're planning on developing a resort there. If we can get it, the profits will be huge, Leah replied without hesitation. Take me with you to the auction. Okay, Leah agreed after a moment's pause. How is he going to humiliate me this time? She wondered, looking at Caleb, who was now focused on his food. The South District Redevelopment Project auction. Leah walked into the auction hall with Caleb on her arm, forcing a smile as she nodded to the other bidders. Ding! Just as they sat down, Caleb's phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Serena, as expected. He didn't reply, instead focusing his attention on the development plan for the South District on the large screen in front of them. The feeling was even stronger now. He couldn't explain why, but he was sure that whoever bought this land would regret it. He just didn't know the specifics. Leah, let's not bid on this land, okay? Caleb whispered, leaning closer to her. Why not? The South District plan is a government-backed project. The initial investment is huge, but in the long run, it's a sure thing, she whispered back. I just have a bad feeling about this land. I don't think it can be developed, Caleb said, his brow furrowed as he stared at the screen. Do you trust me? He asked, turning to look her straight in the eye. His gaze was clear and sincere. Leah bit her lip torn. Caleb squeezed her hand and nodded reassuringly. Leah finally nodded back. Do you hate Serena? He asked. No. Leah quickly shook her head. I think you know that Serena is just using me, playing me for a fool, right? Doesn't it make you angry that she's doing that to your husband? Leah stared at him, trying to read his true intentions. I hate her, she finally admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Good. Today we're going to get some revenge for you, Caleb said, patting her hand. What's our bid price? $450 million. No more than $500 million. The company has a few other projects going on right now, so our cash flow is a little tight. Plus, last time Leah answered without thinking. She didn't finish her sentence, but Caleb knew what she was talking about. The last time, Leah had been in the middle of a major negotiation when Caleb, convinced she was cheating on him, had stormed in and assaulted her business partner. The deal fell through, and Pierce Industries lost a significant amount of money. Ahem. I'm just going to send a text, Caleb said, pulling out his phone and opening his chat with Serena. Her bid is $550 million. Serena, sitting a few rows behind Caleb, frowned when she saw his message. Zane, what do we do? We don't have that much money, she whispered to him. Don't worry. I'll mortgage my parents' house, and the one I gave you, Zane said, making a snap decision. But Zane, Serena started to protest at the thought of mortgaging her own villa. Don't worry. Once we get this project, I'll buy you a bigger, better one, Zane interrupted. Caleb had actually had Serena and her crew investigated over the past few days. Zane, whose real name was Zane Foster, was the illegitimate son of a small-time business owner. He had started his own company to prove himself, and Serena was just a pawn in his game. And Caleb, being both gullible and rich and completely infatuated with Serena, was the perfect target. Zane had used Serena to get a lot of inside information from Pierce Industries through Caleb. Even if we mortgage the houses, it might not be enough, Serena reminded him. Ash, Zane whispered something in the ear of the other man from the nightclub. Okay, I'll take care of it, Ash said, getting up and leaving the auction hall. Why did you tell her that? Leah asked, having seen the message Caleb sent. If she wants the land so badly, let's just give it to her. But not for free. We have to make them bleed for it. So he doesn't want me to get the land because he wants to give it to her? Is this his new way of humiliating me? But Zane's company doesn't have that kind of money. Does he expect me to? Leah's eyes widened as she looked at Caleb, who was acting completely nonchalant. I can't touch the company's money. If he insists, Leah's face was a mask of turmoil. What are you looking at? Is there something on my face? Caleb asked, feeling her gaze on him. No, nothing. Leah quickly looked away. Welcome, everyone, to the auction for the South District redevelopment project. The bidding will now begin. The starting bid is $150 million, with increments of no less than $10 million. After a lengthy introduction, the auction finally began. $160 million, $200 million, $450 million. Just as Leah was about to bid $410 million, Zane immediately raised his paddle. Keep going, Caleb whispered to Leah. But don't worry, they'll follow. $450 million going once. $500 million. Leah quickly raised her paddle. $550 million. Before the words were even out of her mouth, Zane raised his paddle again, a triumphant smirk on his face. $550 million going once. $550 million sold. Congratulations to Foster Group for winning the South District redevelopment project. The auctioneer's gavel fell, and Zane had won the land. How did you know the land couldn't be developed? Leah asked, still skeptical. A sixth sense, Caleb replied with a mysterious smile. We have prepared a reception for all our guests. Please follow me to the banquet hall. Everyone got up and followed the host out of the auction hall. I'm going to the restroom, Leah said, putting down her wine glass. Okay, Caleb nodded. As soon as Leah left, Serena quickly followed her. Ms. Pierce, Serena called out as she caught up to Leah outside the restroom. We got the land, Ms. Pierce. You must be feeling pretty salty about that, she said smugly. Serena, you just Zane's pawn. What do you have to be so proud of? When he makes a profit, how much of it will you actually see? Leah replied coolly. Once this project gets started, Zane and I are getting married. So, how much do you think I'll get? Oh, and by the way, Serena added, a malicious glint in her eye, I have to thank your idiot husband for this. Serena, don't think I won't touch you, Leah said, raising her hand but not striking. Go ahead, hit me. If Caleb finds out you hit me, what do you think he'll do? Serena taunted, thrusting her face forward. Leah quickly dropped her hand, a worried look on her face, and took a step back. See? You know who's more important in your useless husband's heart, don't you? I bet if I asked him, he would leave you and your daughter in a heartbeat and come crawling into my bed. Serena continued to provoke her. Leah looked down, her hands clutching her dress, looking nervous. Slap. Suddenly, Caleb appeared in front of Serena and slapped her across the face before she could even react. See, Caleb, baby, why did you hit me? She was bullying me, Serena stammered, holding her cheek. Slap. Caleb slapped her again on the other side of her face. You actually hit me, Serena shrieked, all pretense of vulnerability gone. Didn't you want my wife to hit you? My wife's hands are for signing multi-million-dollar contracts. Well, she hurt them on your thick, ugly face. So, I did it for her, Caleb said, taking Leah's hand in his. Caleb, you're nothing but my personal ATM. What do you think you are? Only a bitch like Leah Pierce would treat you like a treasure. And now you're defending her. It's too late. We have the development project now. You just wait. Sooner or later, I'll have you on your knees, begging me for scraps. Serena spat, poking Caleb in the chest. Slap. Boring, Caleb said, hitting her again, this time so hard she spun around. You get lost. Caleb raised his hand again, and Serena flinched, covering her face. You'll regret this, she snarled before turning and storming off. Leah was still in shock, unable to believe what had just happened. I thought you were a tough one. I've certainly felt the sting of your punches before. What? Did one Serena really intimidate you? Caleb asked, waving a hand in front of her face. Huh? What? Let's go. Caleb took her hand and led her back to the banquet hall. Stop right there. Before they could reach the hall, Zane and his crew blocked their path. Caleb, you dare touch my woman, Zane said, his arm wrapped possessively around Serena's waist. What's this? Just the other day, you were calling me Caleb, honey. You change your tune pretty fast, don't you? You really are an ungrateful snake, Caleb said with a cold laugh. You think a loser like you deserves my respect? If it wasn't for you being a fool who could get me information on Pierce Industries, You wouldn't even be a blip on my radar, Zane sneered, his previous sycophantic demeanor completely gone. Zane, I gave you a lot of money. I paid for all our nights out. Aren't you afraid of a little karma? Caleb said, feigning anger and hurt. Don't try to act like we're friends. Who took your money? You paid for everything willingly, you idiot. I didn't force you, Zane retorted. Ha ha, hee, idiot. Serena cackled. Which hand did you use to hit my woman? Leave it here, or you're not walking out of here today, Zane said, his laughter fading. Zane, if you touch my husband today, I'll make sure Foster Group disappears from New York. Leah stepped forward, her voice dangerously low. You bitch, you lost the South District project. You should be more worried about how you're going to explain that to your board of directors. I suggest you stay out of this. I don't hit women, but that doesn't mean I won't, Zane said, his eyes raking over Leah's body. You don't need to worry about our company's affairs, Leah said, her fists clenched. I heard you and Caleb have been married for 3 years, and he's never even touched you. With a body like that, what a waste. Why don't you come with me? I'll make up for all the pleasure you've missed out on these past 3 years. What do you say? Zane said, reaching for Leah's face. You're dead. Leah and Caleb shouted in unison. Before Caleb could move, Leah grabbed Zane's hand, twisted it back, and in one fluid motion flipped him over her shoulder and slammed him onto the ground. She then planted her high heel firmly on his hand. Damn, she's still as violent as ever. Caleb instinctively took a step back, while the others stood frozen in shock. You bitch, get your disgusting foot off me. Leah pressed down harder. If you ever dare to insult my husband again, I can't guarantee you'll keep this hand, she said, looking down at him. Leah pierce you. I won't. Get off. Zane finally surrendered. And you, Leah said, turning to Serena and the others, her eyes blazing. Remember this. Anyone who dares to touch my man, I will ruin them, even if it costs me everything. The venom in her voice made them all look away. Get out. Leah lifted her foot, and Serena and the others scrambled to help Zane up and flee. Are you okay? Leah asked, turning to find Caleb staring at her, dumbfounded. Oh, I'm fine. Caleb quickly looked away. Thank you. Suddenly, Leah blushed and threw her arms around him. Now she was sure of it. Caleb had really changed. Leah's sudden embrace startled Caleb, and he held his hands up, unsure of what to do. After a moment, he slowly wrapped his arms around her and gently patted her back. You have no idea how long I've waited for this day, Leah said, pulling away, her eyes shining with tears of joy. Was Leah really in love with me back then? Was all that bullying her way of getting my attention? Caleb's mind drifted back to their college days. Caleb, I've loved you for 14 years, and I've waited for you for 14 years. Back then, because of my weight, I was too afraid to tell you I loved you, so I resorted to other methods to keep you by my side. I stole your food because I wanted to take you out for something better. You were too skinny. I made you celebrate my birthday with me because we have the same birthday. I forced you to do cleaning duty with me because some guys were planning to jump you on your way home. And that time I popped your scooter tire, I did it on purpose. I wanted to carry you home on my back. Tears streamed down her face, but she was smiling. After I heard you got divorced, I started losing weight like crazy, hoping that when I came back, you'd still be here, and I'd finally be good enough for you. The things Leah said all came rushing back to him. She had stolen his food, but then she'd treated him to a fancy dinner. He had heard rumors that some guys were going to ambush him that day. When they celebrated her birthday, she'd made him make a wish. And when his tire popped, she really had carried him all the way home, even though he'd been embarrassed. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you, but the person I love is Sophia, Caleb said, looking down. Maybe you were the only one who thought so. Do you still love her? Leah asked. I know you still think I destroyed your marriage. No matter how many times I explain, you won't believe me. If we ever find Sophia, I'm willing to confront her face to face. I still can't accept that she would betray me. By the way, with your strength back then, you could have easily overpowered me. Why did you? Caleb didn't understand why the 220-pound Leah hadn't just forced him. Because I wanted to, with you. Leah blushed and looked down, fidgeting with her hands. Caleb blinked, completely at a loss for words. Zane mortgaged his house and car, along with Serena's house and all the money she'd gotten from Caleb over the years. Even then, he was still 50 million short. Desperate, he made Serena sleep with a loan shark for one night in exchange for a $50 million loan. Caleb wasn't sure if he loved Leah now, but he definitely didn't hate her. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made love to her 3 more times that night. The South District project starts construction tomorrow. It's a shame, really. A project that could have made $3 billion, and we just handed it over to those scumbags, Leah said, snuggled up to Caleb. Don't worry, there's a big problem with that land. They won't be able to develop it, Caleb said, his eyes closed. I hope you're right. I had to pull a lot of strings to get the board to drop it. I definitely saved you a few $100 million on this one. You really are a siren now, Caleb said, opening his eyes and looking down at her. He swallowed hard. What are you doing now, MMPH? The groundbreaking ceremony for the South District project was broadcast live on TV. But by the afternoon, nothing unusual had happened. Was my feeling wrong? Huh. Just as he said that, a commotion broke out in the background of the TV broadcast. The camera crew rushed over, the camera shaking wildly. Is that an antique? Someone on the broadcast speculated. Buzz. The familiar feeling washed over Caleb again. He felt like he had seen this exact scene before. That's right, there's an ancient tomb complex under this land. Caleb shot up from the couch. What's going on? This is so familiar, but they just found it. Why do I feel like I've seen this news before? What's wrong? Leah asked, getting up as well. See, it's an ancient tomb complex. They'll have to stop construction, Caleb said, pointing at the TV. A tomb complex? It's probably just one tomb. They'll likely continue construction, maybe just revise the development plan. Let's just wait and see, Caleb said with a smirk, sitting back down next to her. The construction site was quickly cordoned off, and archaeologists were brought in. 3 days later, the news reported that a large 2,000-year-old tomb complex had been discovered in the South District. All development was halted, and the construction crew was replaced by a team of archaeologists. How could this happen? Crash. Zane threw his phone against the wall after reading the news. Zane, what do we do now? Serena asked, shrinking away from him. How should I know? Zane roared, making her flinch. All we can do now is wait for the government to approve compensation, he said, slumping into his office chair. But what about our loans? The daily interest is piling up. And that $50 million loan from the loan shark, Serena reminded him timidly. Let me think. You can go now. Serena opened her mouth to say something else, but then thought better of it and left his office. Caleb, you're amazing. How did you know there was a tomb complex there? Are you psychic or something? Leah asked, throwing her arms around his neck and kissing him on the cheek. Something like that, Caleb said, unable to explain it himself. Now the board can't blame me. They should be thanking me. If we had gotten that land, the losses we would have incurred while waiting for compensation would have been huge. Zane's money is all from loans. He must be going crazy right now. Leah said gleefully, ring, ring, ring. That night, as Caleb and Leah were getting ready for bed, his phone rang. It was Serena. Why is she still calling you? Leah asked, annoyed. She probably got swindled by Zane and wants to squeeze some money out of me, Caleb said, answering the phone. Caleb, you have to help me. Serena's tearful voice came through the phone. Who are you to me? Why should I help you? Caleb said bluntly. Caleb, it was all my fault before. I shouldn't have treated you like that. If you help me, I'll do anything for you. Anything you want. Serena's voice changed, becoming sultry and seductive again. Anything, as long as you help me, I'll do whatever you say. Then I want you to go die. Will you do that? Caleb said through gritted teeth as Leah pinched his arm. Caleb, baby, how can you say that? If you're not going to die, then hang up. Don't interrupt me and my wife, Caleb said before hanging up. How could you tell a stranger that we were? Leah playfully punched his chest, blushing. Who cares? Come here. Caleb rolled over, and the night's activities began anew. The government compensation was slow to come. Everyone now knew the South District project was a bust. The bank repossessed all of Zane's mortgage properties, and the loan sharks came knocking every day. Serena was left with nothing. It turned out that Zane's company owned a piece of land in the North District, which the bank was now auctioning off to cover his debts. What's this? Caleb, who had been enjoying the drama, suddenly got that strange feeling again when he heard about the land on the news. He felt like he had seen this news before, too. Hello, Leah. Did you see the news? The bank is auctioning off a piece of land from Zane's company. Yes, the bank contacted me. What about it? We should buy it. It's just an old cemetery. It's far from the city, with no convenient transportation. What would we even do with it? And it's in a low-lying area. The initial investment would be huge. Trust me, this land is a gold mine. It's much better than the South District land. Well, let me talk to the board. I'll try my best to get it for you, Leah said after a moment of thought. Okay, I'll wait for your news. After hanging up, Caleb couldn't shake the feeling of excitement about the land, as if it were filled with buried treasure. He still couldn't explain why. Leah didn't disappoint him. She managed to acquire the unwanted land in the North District for a bargain price of $30 million. You made me buy this land. What are you planning to do with it? Leah asked as they stood on the property, which was overgrown with weeds and dotted with abandoned warehouses and a few gravestones. I don't know, Caleb admitted, a strange sense of joy filling him as he looked around. Let's go back. We'll just have to wait and see. This just in, the resort project originally planned for the South District has been shelved due to the discovery of a large ancient tomb complex. After careful consideration, the relevant authorities have decided to relocate the resort project to the North District. Yes, Caleb shot up from the bed after seeing the news on his phone. I knew it was a good piece of land. I never would have thought they'd move the resort project to the inconveniently located and remote North District. Just then, Leah called. Caleb, you're a genius. Did you get some inside information? You're amazing. Am I amazing? You're the one who knows best, Caleb teased. Oh, she giggled. Ha! You get back to work. We'll celebrate tonight when you get home. Okay. After hanging up, Leah immediately called her assistant. Ms. Pierce, you wanted to see me. Keep a close eye on the news about the North District development. If the city is developing the North District, they'll have to build supporting infrastructure like transportation. Yes, Ms. Pierce. As Leah predicted, the city soon announced plans to build a new highway to the North District. The North District Resort project began on schedule. Leah was in charge, and Caleb, who couldn't help much, spent his days playing with Poppy, playing video games, and occasionally bringing Leah lunch at her office. It all felt like a dream to Leah. It's getting late. Stop working. You can finish it at the office tomorrow, Caleb said, walking into the study where Leah was poring over documents. I have to inspect the construction site tomorrow. I need to finish reading these beforehand. You go take a shower? I'll be done soon, she said, patting his hand on her shoulder with a sweet smile. All right, don't be too long. Okay. Caleb ruffled her hair and left the study. How did he suddenly become a completely different person? Leah wondered, watching him go. I have to ask Zoe. After a few more minutes of work, Leah decided to call her best friend, who was a doctor. Zoe, are you asleep? Leah, you really have a terrible memory. I'm on a night shift. Sorry, I've been so busy lately, I forgot. What's up? I don't have time to hang out with you these days. Who needs you? I have someone to hang out with, Leah said, her face beaming with happiness. Don't tell me your good-for-nothing husband who only knows how to spend your money has actually changed. Be careful. He's probably planning something. Don't talk about him like that. He's really changed. He's so good to me and Poppy. He even cooks for me, and he picks Poppy up from school. While I get home, he gives me massages and... Stop. Leah was still gushing about Caleb's recent behavior when Zoe cut her off. He still thinks what happened 8 years ago was all your fault. He hated you. How could he suddenly change his attitude toward you? Unless he's planning some big conspiracy, or he has schizophrenia, or multiple personality disorder. That's why I called you. I think he's genuinely good to me and Poppy. It doesn't seem fake. Could he really have some kind of mental problem? You should take him to a psychiatrist for an evaluation. Could his brain really be broken? Leah said, jumping to her feet. You dare say my brain is broken? That I have a mental problem? I think you're the one who's crazy, whose brain is broken. Caleb's voice suddenly came from behind her, and Leah quickly hung up the phone and spun around. How did you shower so fast? Let me explain. That's not what I meant. I heard everything. What's there to explain? Caleb said, his face grim, and pulled his hand away from hers. You misunderstood. It's just, You suddenly changed, and you're so good to me and Poppy. I was just a little worried, so I asked a friend. "Oomph. So it's my fault for being good to you." "I'm sorry, honey, don't be mad. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have doubted you. I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one who's crazy. Please forgive me," Leah pleaded, gently tugging on his finger. "So how are you going to make up for my emotional trauma?" Caleb asked, trying to suppress a smile. "Whatever you want, I'll do it. You said it." With that, Caleb's face broke into a mischievous grin, and he swept her up into his arms. "What are you doing?" "No, I still have work to do." "Put me down, you jerk. I haven't even showered yet." Click. Caleb ignored her protests and kicked the door shut. Ring, ring, ring. Perhaps due to the previous days exertions, Caleb, who usually didn't nap, was feeling tired and was trying to catch up on some sleep when his phone rang. "Who is it?" he grumbled, fumbling for his phone with his eyes closed. "Hello, honey. Something huge has happened." Leah's excited voice came through the phone. "What is it?" Caleb asked, his eyes snapping open. While they were digging the foundation for the resort, they discovered a natural hot spring, right in the lowest part of the land. Buzz! The familiar feeling returned. The scene, the event, the people, it all felt like it had happened before. "Honey, are you there? I'm planning to build a hot spring resort now." "That's great. You can make the final decision on the project." "Honey, you're our family's lucky star." "No, the company's lucky star. The board members all want to meet you." "I'm just lucky, that's all. They're all saying that you're the mastermind behind my success." "That doesn't sound right. Usually, it's a successful woman behind every successful man. How did I become the man behind the woman?" Caleb joked. Hee hee. "All right, stop being so modest. I have to go back to the office now and have the plans redesigned. I'll probably be late tonight, so don't wait up for me." "Okay, you go get him. Goodbye, honey." Being a kept man isn't so bad, Caleb mused after hanging up. "I guess you could call it living the soft life the hard way. I never thought I'd end up with the woman Sophia called a homewrecker, the woman I used to hate so much. Life is ironic." 8 years. "We're finally back in New York," Jason White said to Sophia as they left the airport. "You could say we're returning in glory. But if we hadn't gotten all of that idiot Caleb savings back then, we wouldn't have been able to make $5 million so quickly," Jason said, his arm around Sophia's waist. "Caleb? That boring idiot. All he ever did was work. No fun at all. That money was just compensation for my wasted youth," Sophia said with a look of disgust. "I wonder what happened to him after he left with nothing and got fired. Is he begging on the streets now? And I really don't know how he could have stomached that fat pig Leah Pierce that day." Ha ha. The two of them walked toward the taxi stand, laughing. "This stock market guru we're going to meet is supposed to be a genius. Don't say anything stupid. My uncle pulled a lot of strings to get us this meeting. Hopefully, our $5 million will turn into much more. Then we'll really be in the upper echelon of society," Jason said as they lay in their hotel bed. "Don't worry, I'll be all ears," Sophia purred, nestled in his arms. After waiting for 3 days, they finally got a call from the so-called stock market guru. Yes. "We'll be right over. See you soon, Mr. Lin," Jason said, bowing and scraping even though he was on the phone. "Hurry up and get ready. We're leaving now." "Okay, we're about to be rich." Sophia linked her arm with Jason's, and they left the hotel. Jason had even rented a luxury car to make a good impression. They arrived at a villa and were led to a study by a butler. The mysterious tycoon was indeed mysterious. He sat with his back to them the entire time, and they could only see the top of his head over the high-backed chair. "Mr. Lin, hello. I'm Jack's nephew. He recommended I come to you. I hope to learn a lot from you on this investment. This is a small token of our appreciation." Jason placed an expensive gift on the desk and stepped back to stand next to Sophia. "I don't usually work with small-time investors. It's beneath me. But since you're Jack's nephew, I'll make an exception this one time." "Don't expect it again," the mysterious man said without turning around. Thank you, Mr. Lin," Jason and Sophia said, bowing their heads. "You know my commission, right?" 10%, Jason replied quickly. "It's 15%, the man corrected him. Jason frowned and glanced at Sophia. "Okay, whatever you say, Mr. Lin. 15%. The minimum investment I accept is $10 million. "How much are you planning to invest?" the man asked. "$10 million. Jason was stunned. His uncle hadn't mentioned a minimum investment. He had planned to keep some of their money in reserve. Now, his $5 million wasn't even enough to get in the door. Is there a problem? No, no, no. Jason quickly smoothed over his worried expression and waved his hands. Then go home and wait for my news. We still need to wait a few days for that stock. Okay, Mr. Lin, we'll wait for your news. Honey, we don't have $10 million. $5 million is all we have, Sophia said as soon as they got in the car. This is our chance to make it big. We can't miss it. Let's mortgage the house, Jason said, his heart heavy. What? But that's still not enough. I know a loan shark in New York. Everyone calls him Tiger. I can try him. Jason, who had a shady past, managed to get a loan from Tiger through some old connections. What are you looking at? Is that a stock chart? Caleb asked, waking up to find Leah sitting in bed with her laptop. Yes, it is. I just got a tip a few days ago. This stock, Voyager Tech, is going to soar tomorrow by more than 60%. I invested $300 million in it. It's a scam, Caleb blurted out. Then he paused. This conversation, and Leah's words, felt like they had happened before. Impossible. Only a handful of people know that this stock is going to rise. And my source told me it's going to hit 121 tomorrow afternoon at 3. Leah was confident. Caleb leaned over and looked at the screen. The stock was currently trading at around 34. He frowned, a feeling of unease settling in his stomach. Why had he just said it was a scam? It was as if he already knew it was. I'm planning to sell as soon as it breaks 100. I won't get too greedy, so don't worry, Leah said, turning to wrap her arms around his neck. Well, you've already bought it. There's nothing I can do now. But tomorrow, you have to listen to me about when to sell. Leah blinked at his serious expression, then nodded. I am sorry, honey. I didn't think you were interested in this stuff, so I didn't consult you. I think you just thought I wouldn't understand, and it would be a waste of time to tell me, Caleb said, glaring at her. That's not true. You misunderstood me, Leah said, her lower lip trembling, making Caleb's heart melt. You're such a siren. What are you doing? It's time to get up, Poppy. MMPH. Caleb, a firm believer in the benefits of vigorous morning exercise for both physical and marital health, pulled Leah onto the covers. Leah spent the day at home, her eyes glued to the stock chart, occasionally playing with Poppy. Caleb suggested they all go for a walk, but they both refused. So, he went out for a drink with his old college buddy, Ryan. I never thought you'd end up marrying Leah Pierce. She really gave you a hard time in school, but it was obvious to everyone that she was just playing hard to get. But what's even more surprising is that she's the CEO of Pierce Industries, and her body has become. Wow, Ryan said, reminiscing. I didn't expect it either, but I still have my doubts about what happened 8 years ago. How could Sophia do that to me? I gave her everything. I never liked Sophia. After you married her, you were living on a shoestring budget. You had to ask her permission to buy a $5 pack of cigarettes, even though you were the one making all the money. Did we ever hang out after you got married? She never let you. But when it was Jason's birthday, she bought him a $10,000 watch. Do you think that's normal? She probably loved me too much and was afraid I'd cheat on her. As for the gift for Jason, they were childhood friends, and he was the one who set us up. I should have thanked him myself. You're such a simp, Ryan said, shaking his head. Whatever. It's all in the past. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm happy with Leah now, and that's all that matters. It's good that you've moved on. Leah is 100 times better than Sophia in every way. I was good to Sophia, Caleb thought as he walked home. When we got divorced, I left with nothing, not even the 2-bedroom apartment I paid for in full. From now on, we go our separate ways. Young man, can you watch my things for me? The restaurant won't let me leave them by the door. I just have a few more things to collect, an old man collecting recyclables said, stopping Caleb. Caleb looked at the neatly tied bundles of cardboard and bags of plastic bottles. Sure, sir. I'll watch them for you. Thank you, young man. Just as the old man left, Jason and Sophia walked out of the restaurant, laughing and talking intimately. Caleb, Jason spotted him first. It really is you. Jason White? Sophia? You guys. Since we've met again, and you've seen us, I might as well tell you. After I divorced you, you loser, I got together with Jason. He understands me so much better than you ever did, Sophia said, clinging to Jason's arm. We're divorced. Who you're with is none of my business. I just have one question. What happened 8 years ago, was it a setup? Caleb, we're not in the same league anymore. I'm not afraid of you telling anyone, and I'm definitely not afraid of you getting revenge. So I'll tell you. It was me and Sophia who set you up that day. How was that fat pig? Ha. And we were sleeping together in your bed long before you and Sophia got divorced. I never knew Sophia was so wild in bed. If I had known, I would have kept her for myself instead of letting you have her. Oh, stop it. Why are you telling this beggar all this? All right. I won't say any more. Sophia, I gave you my whole heart. I never thought you would do this to me. I was blind to have married such a slut. But you two are a perfect match. A bitch and a dog, a match made in heaven. Caleb, how dare you insult me? Look at you now. So poor you have to collect recyclables to survive. I was right to leave you. Caleb, I know you're mad that I stole your wife. You probably want to kill me right now. But don't blame me, buddy. You couldn't satisfy her in bed. So I had to step in and do it for you. A slut who's been with countless men. Only a guy like you would treat her like a treasure. You can have her, Caleb said, brushing off his shoulder where Jason had touched it. Caleb, you're in no position to be so arrogant. I used your money to invest, and now I'm worth $5 million. Caleb, we're back in New York to meet a mysterious tycoon. He's a stock market guru. Do you understand? After tomorrow, I could be a billionaire. You won't even be worthy of seeing me. Why am I even talking to a beggar like you? Did they buy that stock too? Caleb wondered. Jason, let me give you a piece of advice. The stock market is risky. Invest with caution. Don't come crying to me when you lose everything. What do you know? Since I stole your wife and used your money to get rich, I'll take these recyclables. Here's $1,000. That should be enough to buy this pile of junk. Come on, darling, let's go. Jason threw a wad of cash in the air and walked away with Sophia. Looks like I don't even have to do anything. You'll be ruined soon enough. Caleb watched them leave and turned off the recording on his phone. He had recorded their entire conversation, intending to sue them and get his money back. But now that he knew they had bought that stock, he figured it wasn't necessary. Young man, is this your money? The old man asked, returning with more recyclables. Sir, you can have it. Here, let me help you put these on your card. Thank you, young man. You're a good person. Good people will be rewarded with a long and peaceful life. And what about bad people? Caleb asked. Bad people will get what they deserve. What goes around comes around. Goodbye, sir. Honey, you're home. Daddy, wifey, Caleb said, pulling Leah into his arms. What's wrong? I love you, Caleb said, gently cupping her face in his hands. I love you too, honey. Tears welled up her eyes, but she was smiling. Caleb leaned in and kissed her. You, Daddy and Mommy are being gross, Poppy said, covering her eyes. Who's being gross? Daddy's going to get you, Caleb said, scooping her up and chasing her around the room. The next afternoon, Caleb and Leah sat in front of the computer, watching the stock chart. The stock was rising, just as predicted, but the higher it went, the stronger Caleb's sense of foreboding became. Honey, get ready. When I say sell, you sell immediately. Okay, I'll listen to you. It's at 89. Honey, sell. Just as the stock hit 91, Caleb told her to sell. Leah didn't hesitate. Honey, it's still rising. My source said it could. Before she could finish, the stock plummeted from 94. The stock continued to fall until it hit rock bottom. $3? Leah was in shock. If she hadn't listened to him, she would have lost everything. Honey, you know about stocks too? You're better than the gurus. I think you're better suited for business than I am. Why don't you run the company from now on? I'll be a stay-at-home mom. No thanks. I like being a kept man. You're not a kept man. You're my amazing husband. A lot of companies are going to go bankrupt because of this, Leah said, her voice grim. Let them worry about themselves, Caleb said, picking her up and carrying her to the bedroom. What happened? Why did it fall? How could it fall? Jason muttered to himself, pacing back and forth in their hotel room. Honey, don't. Get away from me. He shoved Sophia to the ground. Impossible. This is impossible. There must be a mistake. It was supposed to go over 100. Crash. Jason smashed the laptop on the floor. Bang, bang, bang. Someone was pounding on the door. Jason White, time to pay up. I know you're in there. Open up. It was Tiger, the loan shark. Go hurry. Jason pushed Sophia toward the door. I am scared. Go. Ah. The door was kicked open, and Sophia screamed. Jason White, you said you'd pay me back by tonight. It's time to pay up, Tiger said, sitting down on the sofa. Tiger, can you give me a few more days? I promise I'll pay you back. Oh, so you don't have the money now? Tiger asked, standing up and eyeing Sophia. I can give you a few more days, but you have to show me some sincerity. Tiger, tell me what you want. I'll do it. Your little lady here is quite a looker. Let me take care of her for a few days, and I'll consider giving you an extension. What do you say? Tiger said, walking towards Sophia with a lecherous grin. No, Sophia cried, hiding behind Jason. Jason White, what do you say? Then, I'll have to trouble you to take care of my wife for a few days, Tiger. I'll get the money as soon as I can. Jason, I'm your wife. Sophia, I need to go get the money. It's not convenient with you around. You can stay with Tiger for a few days. Jason White, you bastard. Slap. You bitch, you dare hit me. Slap. Slap. Tiger, you can take her now. I'm going to go get your money. Okay, go. Don't even think about running. I won't. Jason White, you can't do this to me. Come back. Take her away. Ha ha. Let go of me. Let go of me. 1 month later. Honey, do you want another baby? A boy this time, Leah asked, a happy glow on her face. Of course, a son and a daughter would be perfect. Caleb looked at her, then at her stomach. She smiled and nodded, holding up a positive pregnancy test. Yes, I'm going to have a son. Honey, you're amazing. Oh, be careful. You'll hurt the baby. Saw the, I was just so happy. Sorry, baby. Caleb was taking a walk in the park with Poppy and a pregnant Leah when he saw 2 beggars fighting over a piece of stale bread by a trash can. Jason White, you bastard, I found it first. What do you mean, yours? Give it to me. No. You bitch, give it here. Jason snatched the bread from Sophia's hand and stuffed it in his mouth. Caleb. Sophia looked up and saw him. It really is Caleb. Caleb, help me. Caleb, it's me, Sophia. Who? Do we know you? Caleb, it's your wife. Sophia, the love of your life. How can you say you don't know me? Don't be ridiculous. My wife and child are right here. I don't know you. Caleb, what are you doing here? Jason saw them too. Her. He looked at Leah, and so did Sophia. Leah Pierce, they both said in unison. That's right. I'm a Leah Pierce who used to make fun of the fat pig. I never thought you two would end up like this. What goes around comes around. You. Caleb and I are married. Sophia, I should be thanking you. All right, honey, let's go. There's no need to talk to 2 strange beggars. Okay. Caleb, I have nothing now. Please, give me some money, Sophia begged. Sophia, are you crazy? You cheated on me, left me with nothing, and now that you're in trouble, you want me to give you money? Are you out of your mind? Let's go. Caleb, you're wearing designer clothes. You must be rich now. Just give me a little something. Yeah, Caleb, just give us something. 500,000 would be enough. 300,000? Caleb, we were brothers. Have some pity on me. Jason, who had had his leg broken by Tiger for not paying his debt, was now limping pitifully. If you keep bothering us, I'm calling the police. Ms. Pierce, you have a meeting this afternoon. We should be heading back to the office, Leah's assistant, Chloe, said, walking up to them. These 2 have been harassing my family. Call the police immediately. Yes, Ms. Pierce. We'll go now. Ms. Pierce. Did she just call Leah Pierce MS? Pierce? Is she the CEO of Pierce Industries? They both said, watching as Caleb and his family got into a luxury car and drove away. A few months later, Leah gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Caleb became a full-time, stay-at-home dad, doting on Leah to the point where she was completely helpless without him. Sophia, forced to sell her body to survive, eventually contracted a fatal disease and died under a bridge. Jason, who was constantly dreaming of making a comeback, eventually lost his mind and was committed to a psychiatric hospital.